Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in Danbury, Connecticut at Ninja Mania. They are going to be hosting the head-to-head World Championships for our last division all weekend. This is the elite male division. Got to shout out my man, Ryan Tanner. He has been working so hard to make sure that these courses are perfectly designed for every level of athlete. We saw a lot of new moves for the teen male division. I cannot wait to see what he's cooked up for our elites that are going to be competing here today. It is going to be electric. Now, these athletes have come from around the country. There are a bunch of different qualifiers that they had to go through. You had to first go through a local area qualifier to qualify for one of these 6 regional qualifiers. There were 2 regional qualifiers at each gym. So there was lots of opportunity, but what we have left is a select few. There are 6 qualifying gyms, and there are only 6 athletes here in our elite male division that they are going to be pushing each other to see who is the head-to-head champion for this year. I'm William Schlager, joined by my co-commentator, Jackson Erdos. Jackson, can you talk to us a little bit about the format for today's competition?
Yeah, thanks, Will. Super excited to be commentating once again. We have a double elimination bracket style tournament today. It's going to start with all of the athletes in the winner's bracket. If an athlete loses a match, they're not out. They go to the comeback bracket instead of just being eliminated. A second loss in the comeback bracket results in elimination, so you'll be out after your second loss. The last remaining athlete in the comeback bracket is going to go back up to the winner's bracket in the final round. If the comeback bracket champion wins that round against the winner's bracket champion, then there'll be a final reset match, which will occur since both athletes now have one loss. So I think we're going to see a lot of really good runs. We have a lot of really stacked talent. Even though there's not a lot of athletes, it's all the athletes pack a punch. That's for sure. Really excited to see how Graham Ogden's going to do. Joe Moravsky, Zachary Mass. I got the chance to train with him a couple weeks ago, and he was such a strong and fast athlete. Excited to see how people do on the cliffhangers and the bar tech, especially because we don't see that much bar tech in a head-to-head course, but we are today. So, what are your thoughts, Will? What do you think is going to be the big
You,
separators?
I think you're absolutely right that the bar tech really was a separator for the teen division. I think we'll see it again here in the elite division. And I just want to point out our athletes here. We've got Zachary Mass. You can see him right here. He has done 16 comps so far this season. But what you'll notice that I think is quite interesting is he's actually, it says here on my NinjaWorks, he's 14. So he's aging up for this division, which is super exciting.
Wow.
We don't see a lot of people doing that, but it still is enough for him to be our top seeded athlete. Now, I'm going to skip past our number 2 seed to point out Graham Ogden. You mentioned him coming out of Next Level of New Jersey. He is 15 for the season. So he is the youngest age that would normally be in the elite division. Next, beneath him, we got Ryan Harsha. Ryan trains actually out of my own Stanford Ninja Academy, so I know just how good this guy is. He's been pushing for speed a lot recently, and I expect to see some really good things if he can keep his composure in these runs. Jonathan Covington, he is 15 years old as well. He is coming out of the Southeast region, out of Osega Ninja Academy. And then lastly, we have Giovanni Lopez. My bad, not lastly, but second to last. And he is 17. And out of all 5 of those athletes, Gio being 17 is the oldest, but there is one older athlete, a legend, Joe Moravsky. He is
The
35 years old. So
weatherman.
my man is literally competing against people that are less than half his age. But
That
that's
is
to,
crazy.
not to count him out, though. I mean, he's got so much experience, right, Jack?
Yeah, great athlete, great friend, great guy. Just a role model in the sport. Like when you think of an American Ninja Warrior, you think of the weatherman.
Oh,
And
for
it's
sure.
great that he's able to compete against athletes that are younger than him. Definitely going to still put up a blazing time on this course, that's for sure. He is going to be one of 2 athletes to have a ghost run. So, due to the number of athletes, 2 of Zachary and Joe Moravsky are both going to have a run that will not be scored against each other, just a fun run basically to give them some experience on the course. That way, when they race someone officially, it'll be their second time running the course and their opponent's second time running the course. So in situations like that, you might want to push the pace as fast as you can to try and like book it to get a good time, or you want to play it safe to try and feel out all the obstacles.
Yeah, that's just a few of the many decisions these athletes are going to have to be making today to make sure that they come out on top. And one more thing to touch on with Joe. I train with him. He's coming out of Stanford Ninja Academy. That's the same gym that I work at. And Joe hasn't done a single WNL Tier 1 qualifier. He hasn't done any NSCs this season. He's done a single head-to-head competition. So you might say that he's actually a little bit out of the competitive edge right now. But I will say that we train together all the time. And one thing that he is still significantly better than me at is speed. He is one of the fastest guys I know. We did a little bit of head-to-head with Tom Alberti and Cody Benaway, two top-level athletes just this week. And Joe is actually the fastest guy out of all of us. So do not count this man out.
Yeah, definitely. And we're going to be using a challenge course format today in the competition, meaning that even if they do fall on an obstacle, they'll get to retry it. You'll get to retry 2 obstacles until your 3rd obstacle fail will be the end of your run. Definitely going to be interesting to see if people can still make comebacks even while failing an obstacle.
Yeah, I think we're going to definitely see something like that happening. It looks like our 2 ghost rounds here are ready. Zach Mass on the left, Joe Moravsky on the right. It looks like they're doing a head-to-head, but it is not a real competition yet. They are just getting their 1 ghost round, like Jackson was talking about earlier, getting to feel all the obstacles and experience what they're going to have to do. And now talk us through any course differences you see as we continue on this.
Yeah, for sure. It looks pretty similar so far. They're running through the log. The cliffhangers they actually look about the same. You can see Joe Moravsky just going for that jump right away. Looks like the
I
ring
think,
slider might have been pushed back a little bit.
yeah, I think I agree with you
Oh, it takes
there.
a fall.
Yeah, he crossed the plane, but still, he put his foot down on the side, which does count as a fall off the platform. And this flying bar section, I can't tell. Did Joe fail twice?
I'm not sure. I didn't hear the sound. But then he might have just hopped off the course. Not totally sure what happened. Oh,
Oh,
he's
there he
back.
is. Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it might just be that ring slider that got adjusted. I bet the turbo rollers are probably a little more spinny. But Zach Mass sort of showing why he's our top seed today, coming out with a time of 56.7. You did say that you want to do a double or nothing here, Jackson. When do you want to call that?
We're gonna do it after this race right here. That's my guess. So we're gonna see how it's gonna go, and then make our guesses from there.
And for those of you who are just joining us, what Jackson and I are talking about is during the last division, we made a little bit of a bet, a gentleman's bet. Loser has to do 50 pull-ups on who would get closer to guessing the fastest time possible. I guessed the lower time of 32, and the fastest athlete was about 29. But here we got Ryan Harsha on the right-hand side against Mr. Covington, Jonathan Covington on the left, showing us their wicked speed on their very first round. Ryan with a little bit of advantage here in the beginning, just a little quicker on these early obstacles.
Yeah, blazing through these obstacles right now.
Yeah, he was unable to commit to the cliff links, but so was Jonathan, so he preserves his advantage here. Now you can see being on the sliding part right there, you don't actually want to be on the frontmost part. You want to do what Jonathan did and get in between the blockers, and Jonathan able to catch himself up a lot there.
You can see the gap slowly getting a little closed here.
But that
Ryan's still picking up the dub.
Yeah, great work from Ryan Harsha. Finished with a time of 48.83, so that's already our fastest time of the day. Great.
So, Will,
work
I'm going to
for
hand
him.
it to you. You have to make the first prediction. What do you think the fastest time will be?
I think they will get down to... I'm going to go a little bit slower than the teen division because they're not going to get as many runs. I'm going to guess something like 37.37. I'm going to go 37.37.
That's a good guess. I feel like I still have faith in my athletes. I'm going to say 35.4.
Okay. So there we go. If it's 37 or... Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that. And this is for double or nothing for 100 pull-ups or 0 pull-ups. Is that right?
Let's just say either 100 pull-ups or you do 50 pull-ups.
Okay, that's fair. That makes some sense. We got Graham and Gio now on the course. Graham repping Next Level on the in the orange shirt here, Gio from Hamden Ninja Academy on the other side. I believe both these athletes were at this event last year, the test event. So they're going to have a little bit of familiarity with the layout and the flow of the gym. Able to link through the cliffs. Nice dismount from Graham. Oh, falls onto his knees, but manages to clutch it up. Good work, Graham Ogden. He just has to get this one last move. And there you go. Graham Ogden getting the full clear.
44.
Wow, 44 already?
I'm telling you, man. I think it's going to be faster than even what I said.
Yeah. I really thought that having less races was going to mean that these athletes weren't going to be able to push it quite so quick, but I could be mistaken there. And Gio just has to figure out this last obstacle. A little bit of bar tech to do here. Not able to get the distance. And I'm noticing it looks like the cradles on the where you're starting and where you're going to for the salmon ladder are actually different. Those blue cradles that you're starting on have a little bit more lip to them, so you have to push upwards a little bit harder to get into the other side. And we're going to stay here in the winner's bracket. We have Zach Mass on the right and Ryan Harsha on the left. Ryan already won his first head-to-head race, and he did it faster than Zach Mass. So I would say slight advantage to him, but he's falling behind early here.
Yeah, I think that even though he might be a little bit behind, he can definitely close that gap later on the obstacles because the later obstacles might take more time.
Yes, and Ryan does do that. He manages to full length the cliffhanger, closing the gap right away. And Ryan already learned from his mistake. No! Undershoots the dismount!
Wow, just misses the dismount.
And that's one of those situations where you'd rather overpower and be double sure than underpower it and not make it. And it looks like he is going to take one more swing here before he gets through onto the turbo rollers. If Zach keeps it clean, it's his to win, and that's exactly what happens. Wow. Ryan elects to take his rest there. I think that's a very wise call.
Yeah, probably smart.
There's the moment.
That dismount, man. It's just because they probably moved some of the little humps on the ring slider, so it might slide back and forth a little bit, making you unsure how to do it.
Yeah. I think Ryan thought he had the distance, and he just needed 3 more inches, and he was on it. Okay, and then here we go. We've got Joe Moravsky, the veteran of Ninja here. He's been competing for over a decade versus Graham Ogden, only 15 years old.
Wow, really young gun in the sport. Super strong, super explosive.
Yeah, and I'll say Joe might be on the older side of competitors in this field, but he competes like he has been doing this, for, as long as he's been doing it. He's been doing it for almost 15 years now. But neck and neck, Graham is not letting away at all. Oh, Graham not able to connect it, and Joe
Moravsky just barely getting that dismount.
Forward grip on the flying bar. That's interesting. That's very Josiah Papel of him.
And we have a clear 36.13.
Now, what was your guess again? Was it 35.4, something like that?
35.7, I think.
Well, I guess that means you win the side bet here.
There we go. So let's say we just both do 50 pull-ups.
We both do 50 pull-ups. I think that's absolutely fair here. And yeah, yes. Joe did a great job. And there's still a lot that he can make up on that run to improve the efficiency even further. And Graham, honestly, super impressive, able to keep pace up until the cliffhanger obstacle with Joe. Really, really good grit and determination from that guy, and just putting all of his training on display.
Yeah, still getting that sub-minute. And he's not out yet. There's still runs to go.
And here we go into our comeback bracket. We're going to have Giovanni Lopez on the left on the blue lane, and Ryan Harsha in the red lane on your right. And now Giovanni is one of the taller athletes I've seen. His wingspan is absolutely enormous. So let's see if he can use that to his advantage here in this race against Ryan.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be moving with a purpose on this one. Definitely knowing that this could be their last race. This is what determines who moves on and who will be eliminated from this competition.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ryan getting an early dismount on the donuts has an advantage here, but now it's a matter of can he keep it? And he does full length the
Gets the
cliffs.
full link. Oh, but Giovanni falls in that last cliffhanger, Lisha. Second to last cliffhanger, Lisha.
Yeah, and that's one of those things. Being taller, having bigger hands makes every ledge feel even smaller. So there's a little bit of a disadvantage on an obstacle like that to having a little bit more size. And Ryan
Definitely.
keeping his lead here. I wish that Ryan would go for a link on one of those moves because he knows he has the distance right here, just so he'd be more familiar for the future. But unfortunately, that's going to be Gio's second lost race, so that is going to be the end of his championship dream here.
You know he wants to finish that course, though.
Oh yeah, you can't take a ninja off an obstacle unless you kick him off.
Exactly.
Looks like he's setting for a link here. Oh, he wanted it. He's just tired. I mean, a minute and a half of pushing your absolute fastest is super taxing, no matter who you are.
Yeah, definitely. I remember when I competed at a head-to-head comp, it was a qualifier at next level, and by the end, I thought I had a whole workout in because of how many times I was running this course.
Yeah, speed is not my favorite course format. I'm more of a tech guy myself. And part of it's because exactly what you're saying. You run the speed course a few times and you feel like you've been running for an hour.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we got two 15-year-old athletes here. Jonathan Covington on the left, Graham Ogden on the right, making their way through the first couple. Graham putting that huge wingspan on display.
You know he wants to clean up some of those things that he failed when he was going up against Joe Moravsky.
Yeah, I think it was the cliffhanger where it all came down, so we'll see how he adjusts right here. Doesn't jump to the second
Ooh,
one. That's what
great
he did
link.
against Joe. Yeah, and you
Oh,
can see Jonathan committing for the hard skip there because he knew he had to make up some time, and it did not pay off. Great link.
wow.
Oh, I
What a
thought he
great
had it.
link.
And that's probably he didn't go for it because he knew he had it locked up if he just made the move.
Still getting a 40-second time. Super impressive out of Graham.
Ooh, that's an idea. In case you missed it, Jonathan right there tried to lâcher from where the flying bar starts straight to the PVC.
Oh, wow. You know some people are going to go for that. That's a Joe Moravsky move right there.
That is a Joe Moravsky move. I would agree. It's probably 10 feet, but I mean, he's got that distance.
For sure.
All right, Graham just finished his race, but got to throw him back in the fire right away. We're going to give him a 1 minute little rest here so that he's not quite so winded. Let him recover a little bit, get some water. But he's going to be racing up against Ryan Harsha in the comeback bracket. I believe this will determine our top 4 or top 3 already. The winner of this will be locked into the podium.
I believe you're right. The top 3 are either going to be the winner of this race or and Zachary Mass, followed by Joe Moravsky. Anyone can take the first place on this one, though, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think both of these athletes have had good runs. I believe Ryan has not linked together that last obstacle sequence yet, and Graham has linked parts of it. So if it comes down to that and they're neck and neck, maybe the experience from Graham is going to make a big difference. But I know Ryan is the type of athlete to be really good at pushing the pace. And when we do speed course training in the gym, Ryan gets better every run. He's really good at staying focused and in the moment.
It's about that constant progression that we got to see. Similar to Cameron Godbout in the teen division, picking up that
Yes.
time about 15 seconds from his first run. So you never know what could happen.
Yeah, and
Well, but
Graham
Ryan
does
taking a
elect
little bit
that
of a
big
slip
skip.
up somewhere.
think that's the ring slider obstacle after the steps. And, ooh, no. Uh-oh. Graham's got to lock it up now. You cannot relax your focus for a second. Oh.
Wow. So close to slipping on that.
Yeah, and if he did, he would have just left it wide open for Ryan to just clear the turbo rollers and get out of there. But instead, Graham is guaranteed podium now. And Ryan, you can see he's still just, looks like he's a little winded maybe, and definitely a little defeated, being that he wasn't able to get past this sequence. Yeah, there it is. That was the moment where Ryan absolutely could have made it up, but unfortunately, just a couple of tricky obstacles in a row got him. Great work, Graham, and we're going to see him try to make his way out of the comeback bracket against the loser of this next match. We have Zachary Mass and Joe Moravsky.
Yeah, I believe this is the rematch from the first round when the Ghost Runners happened. But now the stakes are high. Someone's going to the losers bracket. Someone's going to the championship. It's going to be a great race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've seen Joe hit the faster time. I could be mistaken, but we're going to definitely see which decisions are made, and Zach does take an early lead here. Triple underbar.
Great technique here.
Yeah, Zach Mass coming out of Ascend. Operation Link everything on his back, and he goes for the cliff link and comes up short.
Though.
Oh, and Joe gets the link.
Joe Moravsky able to keep moving.
Here we go. If Joe can keep this clean. Oh, give Zach a chance to catch up.
Any risks.
There we go. Good
Great
job, Joe. That's a
Joe.
guaranteed top two. Zach Mass now has to claw his way back up against Graham Ogden here.
Yeah. A 35-year-old speed demon on the course right now. Love to see it.
I think that's right. So you see here, Zach with the lead goes for the exact same skip he knew Joe was going to do. The difference being that Joe actually managed to make it, and that was the difference. So I think Zach's going to have to change his game plan coming up in here against Graham.
Yeah, I wonder if he saw Cameron Godbout do that one-handed bump technique, able to kind of jump past it but still use the cliffhanger to his advantage. Might be a good technique for him to try out on the next one.
That's a great thing to notice there. And it just comes down to, was he paying attention during the teen runs?
Definitely.
All right, well, we're going to give Zach a little bit of time here to catch his breath. You can see him walking across the audience seated area right now, making sure that he's as rested as possible before going up against Graham.
Only two or three races left in this whole competition. Been a great weekend. So many close races within less than a second. Shout out to all the athletes that competed, because win or lose, everyone's making history at this competition. The first ever head-to-head world championship. It's going to go down in the history books.
That's right. And this is really what it comes down to, is who's going to be the first elite head-to-head champion. All right, Graham looks ready. He's on his starting block. Zach getting a little bit more chalk, and we are ready for our penultimate race here. There we go. Both using that huge height, neck and neck coming out of the underbar on the board. And staying neck and neck through the next couple of obstacles, too.
Synchronized ninja. Once again.
Graham able to get that early dismount, and Zach unable to commit to the links on the cliffs. And Graham is able to keep himself an obstacle ahead, but can he get the links here? Oh, Zach.
Just making the fall.
I mean,
Graham
Zach was winded from
sub
40, nothing to balk at.
Not at all. Still a great performance on everyone.
Yeah, you wonder if Zach could have been maybe a little more rested, whether or not he might have been able to do a little bit better, but that's just part of the game here. You've got to do your best to win every race so you get more rest time, because now Joe Moravsky is coming in here for his race. He's going to be on the right-hand side, and he's going to have a big rest advantage over Graham. Graham has run more runs, so Graham has a little bit of an experience advantage, but he's going to be doing it a little more winded.
Definitely. And this is also a rematch from a couple of rounds prior. Joe Moravsky
True.
ended up taking the win over Graham, but then Graham able to climb back out of the comeback bracket. So we know Graham's going to want that first place, and we know Joe always wants that first place.
Yeah, Joe is one of those guys. He says it to me all the time when we're training, but he only thinks about winning. And that is what we call a champion mentality right there. So we'll see if he can put that on display in this last, or maybe not last, maybe second to last race here.
Yeah, you never know. Because if Graham's able to win this, then they'll have to rest for 1 minute and then race directly again. So that might affect Graham even more than Joe, because that would be his third run in a row in a span of 3 minutes.
You know, this reminds me of in the test event when we had Ramses Valdez run, I believe, 5 races back to back to back to back to beat the entire other team in the test event. And I remember him at the end, he was like, he finished the third one. He was like, do I really have to go again? All right, here we go. The tensions are high. Joe and Graham, who's going to take it here? Graham able to connect his dismount to get ahead of Joe.
Graham a little bit of a lead, and Joe takes a fall on the quad steps.
Luckily, it was a fast fall. He didn't need any reset time. Just had to get back up and keep going, so he's not too far behind. What is happening?
Fails the cliffhangers.
I think that's the first time we've seen him not skip the first board in a little while.
Graham takes multiple swings, barely gets it. He's just got to stay clean now. But he takes the fall.
Joe, come on, lock it in, baby. Do it for all the veterans out there.
Is going to be your elite male head-to-head world champion. What a race!
He can't even believe it.
Back and forth, nonstop. Wow, I was not expecting that at all.
I mean, look at him. He's in disbelief. You know that he's not happy with that run. It was sloppy. There was a lot of mistakes, and he just can't believe that he's blessed enough to be able to come away with a win just from Graham making a single mistake on the flying bar here. It was his to win.
Call him Sloppy Joe over here.
Oh, man. I bet he loves eating
like
those.
The food. Yeah, of course. Yeah, really, it's a shame. Graham really had that lead for the most part. Took a couple extra swings on the ring slider, and then it just came down to that flying bar. Wasn't able to secure the win, but still a great athlete. This is his first year in Elite, I'm pretty sure, so many years to come ahead of him. Just a great athlete. But yeah, this is going to be our podium. Zachary Mass in third place, Graham Ogden in second place, and the weatherman, Joe Moravsky in first place.
You know, Joe made a prediction at the start of this event, I think. He said there will be buzzers, and he was right. He hit some buzzers. So congratulations to Joe and all the other elite male athletes that came out here and put it out on the line for everybody. It was an awesome, awesome event to watch. And I mean, you know these guys. Ryan Tanner right there, sort of taking a knee. I'm sure he's exhausted from all the hard work setting up an event like this, the testing, measuring everything to make sure that the distances are perfect. So shout out Ryan Tanner and the Ninja Mania staff. These guys crushed it.
Yeah, what an amazing comp, especially with head-to-head having to have an exact same course and a great flow. This gym puts on an amazing head-to-head competition. I hope to make it out next year for sure. It looks like a great facility.
Absolutely. So there we go. That's your second place, Graham Ogden, stepping up right now on the left at just 15 years old. He can say he's one of the best in the world. And Joe Moravsky, he's been on top for so long, showing why he is consistent. He is powerful. He is fast. And he has experience. He has almost twice as much experience as any of these athletes. So Graham getting spooked from the confetti. Good job, Joe. He caught some confetti. He'll bring that home for me, I'm sure, to show me at the gym that he won.
Of course.
Yep, got some stuck on the face now, too. And there we go. That is all she wrote. Great job from all of these gentlemen. And this has just been an awesome event in general. If you missed any of the streams, make sure you go back and check them out. I am personally a big fan of the preteen male division. Those were some of the most electric races that I got to commentate. Didn't get a chance to see mature kids or kids division, but I'm going to have to watch those back later and see what's up. And there you go. The athletes are already on the course.
Of course.
Cody Benaway with the one-arm pull-up on the PVC. Shout out Cody Benaway.
Gives the high five to Michael Sherman.
Oh, he's doing it with no thumbs now? I'll give him $5 if he does it
Wow.
with no thumbs. Anyways, guys, one last shout out to our sponsors who made this event happen. These courses were powered by DGS Ninja, the absolute top provider in the world of obstacle supplies, making it happen. DGS sponsored athlete Joe Morozky showing why he's on the team today, getting the absolute dub.
Yeah, DGS, great brand, having so many great obstacles from 111, Barn Built, Makercraft, Brett Sims, all great obstacle designers, and yeah, just a great team for sure.
And of course, this wouldn't be possible without NinjaWorks, the absolute ultimate in ninja timing systems. You saw their buzzers that were hanging from the rafters there for the last two divisions. If we didn't have their expertise, these events would not be possible. So thank you to NinjaWorks for having the best ninja timing software that there is. And yeah, make sure you look out for more from NinjaWorks and DGS. Support the companies that help make this event possible. And that's it, Jackson. Any closing remarks?
Closing remarks are head to head is the way. I expect to see so much more head to head in the future. We saw it on possibly American Ninja Warrior this year, and we're gonna see it years to come. Maybe hopefully in the Olympics. You never know what can happen. Such an exhilarating format, and I'm looking forward to being at this competition next year. Definitely want to take the prize off of Joe Moravsky. But yeah, super cool event. Looking forward to next year.
And that's it from us, guys. I'm William Schlageter here with Jackson Erdos. And this has been the World Ninja League's broadcast of the Head-to-Head World Championships. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful week and stay strong, ninjas.